Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. If not, welcome back and thank you for supporting me. I'm Coretta. So in this tutorial, I will show you how I use my Brother SC1900 single needle embroidery machine to create a double applique sweatshirt. Come on y'all, let's get started. For this project, I will be using a black sweatshirt, embroidery thread, cutaway stabilizer, glitter HTV, fabric, heat and bond light, and embroidery scissors. I will leave a list of these items in the description of this video. Here in Embrilliance, I am going to use Stitch Artist Level 3. You can use Embrilliance Essential or Embrilliance Enthusiast to complete this project. If you do not have the software, you can have the design digitized as a split design for a repositionable hoop. Then you can follow the steps that I will show on the embroidery machine. The first thing I'm going to do is select the repositionable hoop. To select the repositionable hoop, I am going to select Edit on the top menu. I'm going to select Preferences. And when the program preferences open, I am going to first make sure that my format is PES because that is the format that I need for my Brother's SE1900. And then you would select the file format for your embroidery machine. To the right of format is hoop style. And I am going to select the multi-positioned. And then for the hoop size, I am going to select the 130 by 300, which is the jumbo hoop. And on the bottom, you can see here that it's approximately a 12 by 5 hoop. I am going to also select the rotate 90 degrees because the design that I'm using is going to be horizontal. If your design is vertical, you do not need to select the rotate 90. And then I'm going to select apply and OK. Here is the repositional hoop. The hoop size is 2 5x7 hoops that actually overlap each other. So on the left, you have a 5x7. And then on the right, you have a 5x7. Next, I am going to open my design. To open the design, I am going to select File on the top menu. And I'm going to select Open. I am going to select my PES file. And then I am going to select Open. With the design on the canvas, I am going to save it as a split design. To save the file, I am going to select File on the top menu. I'm going to select Save as Stitch and Working. I'm going to navigate to where I want my file saved, and then I am going to name my file. Once I name my file, I am going to make sure that the Save As type is a PES file, and then I'm going to select Save. Here is the folder with the saved files. So inside the folder, you have your PES files. So you have the split design top, you have the split design bottom, and you have your Embrilliance working file here, and you also get a text document. I am going to save these two PES files to my flash drive. So these are the two split designs that I am going to save to my flash drive. Here is the 5x12 embroidery hoop, and this hoop has 4 slots on it. So it has the 4 slots here, and slots 1 and 2 will embroider 1/2 of the design, and slots 3 and 4 will embroider the other half of the design. Depending on how you hoop your garment, and also depending on which half of the design you're starting with, will depend on which slot you choose to start with. So now I'm going to hoop my sweatshirt with 1 piece of cutaway stabilizer. I will be hooping my sweatshirt with the brackets. So here are the brackets. The brackets are going to be facing the bottom of the sweatshirt. Here at the embroidery machine, I am going to place the hoop on the machine, and I want to start with the first half of the design. And so I am going to place the hoop on the machines in slots 1 and in slot 2. Once the hoop is on the embroidery machine, I am going to get the design pulled up. My design is on a flash drive that has already been inserted into the embroidery machine. To locate the design, I am going to select the USB icon. I am going to locate the first side of my design. I am going to select Set. I am going to rotate the design because it's upside down. So I'm going to hit Rotate. I'm going to rotate 90 degrees clockwise. And then I'm going to select OK. I'm going to select In Edit. Then I'm going to select Embroidery. Once I select embroidery, the stitch order is going to show. When using the repositionable hoop, it adds this outline stitch around it, and I do not want to embroider the outline stitch. And so to get rid of it, I am going to select the needle with the plus and minus. I am going to select the spool with the plus sign. I'm going to select OK, and that has brought me to my second set of stitches. Next, I'm going to lower the presser foot, and I'm going to push the green button to start the machine. This is going to stitch the first half of the placement stitch for the first layer. When the placement stitch for the first half is done, I am going to unhoop the hoop, and I am going to move the hoop into the 3rd and 4th slot. So I'm going to slide it up to the 3rd and 4th slot. Then I'm going to end the first one, the first half. I'm going to end, and I'm going to go hit the back button so I can cancel it. Then I'm going to select the second half of the design by selecting the USB icon. I'm going to select the second half of the design. I'm going to select Set. I'm going to make sure that it is in the right orientation, and I am going to rotate it 90 degrees clockwise. and I'm going to select OK. I'm going to select Edit In, and I'm going to select Embroidery. I'm going to delete the outline stitch by selecting the needle with the plus and minus. I'm going to select the spool with the plus, and I'm going to select OK. I'm going to lower my presser foot, and I'm going to push the green button to start the machine. And this is going to stitch the second half of the placement stitch for the first layer. Once the placement stitch is finished, I am going to remove the hoop from the embroidery machine to place the HTV, the glitter HTV. Now I am going to place the hoop back on the embroidery machine, and I am going to place it in slots 1 and in slots 2. Then I am going to pull up the first half of the design so that I can stitch the remaining steps for the first half of the embroidery design. To stitch the remaining first half of the design, I am going to select the back button to cancel. And then I'm going to select the USB. I'm going to select the first half of the design. I'm going to select Set. I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees clockwise. I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to select In Edit, and then I'm going to select Embroidery. I am going to select the needle with the plus and minus. And then I'm going to select the spool with the plus 2 times because I want to skip the outline stitch and I want to skip the placement stitch. So I'm going to select it 2 times. And then I'm going to select OK. And now I am on my tack down stitch for the first layer. I am going to lower the presser foot, and it is going to stitch out the tack down stitch for the first layer and the satin stitch. I've placed the hoop back on the embroidery machine in slots 1 and 2 so that the tack down and the satin border can stitch for the letters M and A. Now that the first half of the design is complete, I am going to move the hoop to the 3rd and 4th slot so that it can embroider the remaining stitches to the second half of the design. To start the second half of the design, I'm going to select OK because I'm finished with the first half. I'm going to select back and OK to cancel the current pattern. I'm going to select the USB icon. I am going to select the second half of my design, and then I'm going to select set. I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees clockwise. I'm going to select OK, and then I'm going to select in edit. I'm going to select embroidery, and it is going to show my stitch order. I am going to select the needle with the plus and minus, and I am going to hit the spool with the plus sign 2 times so that I can skip the outline stitches and skip the placement stitches so that I can start with my tack down stitch. So I'm going to hit it 2 times. And now I'm on my tack down stitch. So I am going to select OK. I'm going to lower my presser foot, and I am going to press the green button to start the embroidery machine, and it is going to stitch the tack down and the satin border for the first layer of the second half of the design. The second half of the first layer is complete, and so now I'm going to stitch the second half placement stitches for the last M and A. I'm going to place the hoop back on the embroidery machine in slots 3 and 4 so that the tack down and the satin border for the second half of the M and A can stitch. Okay, y'all, my sweatshirt is finished. I think it turned out so cute. Tell me what you think. Let me know in the comments what you think about the shirt. All right, guys, that's all for now. I hope that you're able to follow along with my process. If you like this video and would like to see more, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and consider subscribing to my channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you could be notified every time I upload a video. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and I will respond back. Thank you for watching and see you in my next video.